Greetings. Nearly 3 years ago, I put out a video titled Just for Fun, Sing Yiddish in Ancient Aramaic. And that was, as the title alluded to, it was a playful video in which I touch on how I was perusing an Aramaic text and I saw something which was obviously not intended by the author. And this afternoon, I felt inspired to make another video along those lines. It's not going to be as absurd as that video from nearly 3 years ago, but it's still going to be a case of me reading something in the text which is probably, maybe some would say almost certainly, not intended by the author. But I'm just doing this to share where my mind went while I was looking at a text, and also perhaps as sort of like a little intellectual exercise, all right? And, we'll see if anyone finds this interesting at all. I was inspired to do this while browsing this particular translation of the Qur'an. It's actually a Shi'i translation of the Qur'an, and I was looking at a text in surat al-MaseeHee, and I'm going to turn to that now, if you'll bear with me, the third chapter of the Qur'an. So here we are. Like I said, it's the third chapter, surat al-MaseeHee, specifically the 7th verse, right? And what I found interesting is this particular bilingual copy of the Qur'an, it divided the text up in a way that it sort of allowed my mind to I guess, perceive it in a slightly different way. So I'm only going to be focusing on these top 3 lines, right? The 3 lines that you see here. And the general understanding, the popular understanding, the mainstream understanding of these 3 lines is that they're basically saying that the Qur'an has verses which are clear, and unambiguous, and then it has other verses that are unclear or allegorical. And then, of course, the text goes on to say that, talk about people who abuse the allegorical text, right? Now, I'm not saying that interpretation, that understanding of the text is wrong. I just want to show you where my mind went with this. I guess we could call this an unorthodox reading, or perhaps a reading of the text. My mind sort of conjured a reading of the text that was, we'll say, probably not intended by the author, but I just want to share because I think you might find this interesting. I don't know. So the top line, we'll just go through the 3 lines really quickly. The top line reads, Huwa alladhi anzala alayka al-kitab. He, and it's referring to God, he's the one who caused the book to descend upon you, right? And now, with regards to the word kitab, while it you would typically translate kitab as book, for this, I want to treat it as more literally meaning writing, right? Because the kataba verb root, the kaftaba root, pertains to writing across the Semitic languages, right? So rather than the book, we'll treat it as the piece of writing, right? And then on the second line, it begins minhu, literally from him. Here I would say it's not referring to God, but rather to the most recent masculine noun just mentioned, that being the piece of writing, al-kitab, right? So from it, minhu, from that writing, or found within that writing, I would say more figuratively, are minhu ayatun muhkamatun, right? So this word ayat is the plural of ayah, right? And it's popularly understood by Muslims to mean verses of the Qur'an. It literally means sign, and I want to treat it here as meaning written sign, right? That's where my mind went, because the word ayah in Arabic relates to the Hebrew word ot, right? Which is used in Hebrew to refer to letters, and so too it's related to the Aramaic word at, which also can refer to letters. Like, for example, in Luke 16:17, when it talks about not even like sort of the smallest pen stroke of the law passing away, it uses the word atuta, right? Which it's related to that word at. So here I want to allow the word ayah, or the plural ayat, treat it as meaning, it means signs, literally. Ayah means sign, and so the plural ayat means signs, plural. I want to treat it as meaning written signs, so letters. I'm going to treat it as meaning letters, as similar to the related words in Hebrew and Aramaic, ot and at, right? And then you have this plural participle here, muhammad, right? So the word muhkama is treated as meaning like clear, right? Or decisive, I think this translation uses. But the root, hakama, can refer to wisdom primarily, but also to judgment, like including judgment in a court. So I would treat this as referring to written signs which permit you to discern, right? That provide you with the wisdom that's needed to discern something, to judge something, right? So let's keep that in mind. These are written signs that give you the discernment, the much needed wisdom to judge a matter, to clarify a matter, right? That's the way in which they're clear, right? And then the text goes on to say, Huna kitab. Real quick side note, I love the fact that this uses the feminine plural pronoun, hun, and then it segues from the plural pronoun into a singular noun. Huna would mean like they, feminine plural, they are a mother, or they are the mother, because it's in the absolute, because the noun that follows is in the absolute. So they are the mother of the book, or the writing, as we'll get to. So the only reason I wanted to do this little segue is about the plural and then the singular is because sometimes in Muslim Christian dialogue, people struggle with this idea of, especially when we're discussing like the Trinity, this idea of one thing comprising multiple things. And so it is interesting to see this, plural pronoun refer to a singular object. They are the mother, those feminine things. But anyway, getting back to what we were discussing, I found this interesting. When I saw this part right here, Huna kitab, I read it, where my mind wandered was so it literally means those signs that allow you to clarify things or allow you to judge or discern things, they are the mother of the writing, kitab, right? Now here's something interesting. My mind wandered to the concept of the mater Lectionis, which literally means mother of the reading. This says mother of the writing, kitab. Mater Lectionis refers to the mother of the reading. And what mater Lectionis refers to, it's a Latin phrase, it refers to letters that allow you to clarify a word. That's literally what materes lecciones are. They're letters and they're called like the mother of the reading because almost like a mother, they help you, they guide you through the text, right? And so it was interesting when I saw kitab, literally mother of the writing, I thought of mater lecciones, the mother of the reading. And it's interesting that just as a mater lecciones is a letter that allows you, a written character, a written sign that allows you to clarify a text, better judge a text, better read it, more efficiently or more accurately read the text, so too these ayat, these written signs that that provide you with the wisdom and discernment and judgment to clarify something, to clarify what you're reading, those ayat, those written signs, those letters, if you will, are the kitab, the mother of the writing, much like the mater lecciones, the mother of the reading. And then it goes on to say, Wa'ucharu, and others, this is plural by the way, others are mutashabihat, right? Now, when you look at translations, this participle, mutashabi, or in the feminine plural here, mutashabihat, they refer to, they're treated as the participle is treated as referring to something which is figurative or allegorical or unclear. But here's something interesting. The root here, this shin ba ha root, that root is the same root that's used in the fourth chapter in Surat an-Nisa, in the 157th verse, the famous, or some might say infamous verse that's popularly interpreted as denying the crucifixion. I'm not saying it does, but where it'll say that the people who boasted about killing and hanging the Messiah, they neither hanged him nor killed him. And then it says it appeared to be so, right? And when it says it appeared, it seemed, it uses a word from this same root, this shin baha root, right? So the reason why I bring that up is because the root can refer to like appearances, right? Or resemblances. And the precise verb stem that this participle is from uses that root to create verbs that can also refer to two things resembling each other. And I found that interesting because when we read it that way, what we're saying is that, within this writing that God calls to descend upon you, there are these written signs, right? The ayat, the letters that, provide you with the wisdom or the judgment to clarify things. And they're the materes lectionis, or the mater lectionis, since is singular here, right? They're the mother of the reading, or in this case, the mother of the writing. But otherwise, without them, writings that lack the materes lectionis or mater lectionis, those things you're not able to discern, and rather things resemble each other. Like, you can't as easily discern between two different readings if you lack the materes lectionis, right? And so in that sense, they're mutashabihat, right? That like I said, things will just jumble together. Things will resemble each other. You'll lack the discernment, the judgment, the wisdom to tell them apart, right? It's easier to tell two different readings apart when you have a mater lectionis in there. Okay, that's all I wanted to share. That's just my interesting reading of this text. Like I said, this is an intellectual exercise, and I'm not claiming this was actually the reading what was intended by the author of this text. I just wanted to share where my mind went while I was perusing this text. I read this verse, which again is in the 3rd chapter of the Qur'an, surat al-MaseeHee, the 7th verse. So 3rd chapter, 7th verse. I read it as sort of an allusion to the mater lectionis. I thought that was interesting. I hope you found it interesting. On that note, have a great day, and God bless.